Alright, so that's one thing that I find full self-drive does rather annoyingly, is I'm in the fast lane. I want to stay in the fast lane. I want to be going as close to my max speed as I can, because traffic goes well above 70 miles an hour in the fast lane, and I don't want to be the slowest car on the road. And it will regularly want to throw me out of, not necessarily just the fast lane, but any lane that's perfectly good to stay in. It will just randomly want to jump in a different lane. And I find it's really slow to react if I notice it's putting the turn signal on to signal to start changing a lane, and I want to cancel it really quick. I throw my hand up here and try to hit the button, but all that does is half the time is it puts a turn signal on in the opposite direction. It doesn't just cancel it, and then I'm sat there driving with my turn signal on in the opposite direction, and you gotta fiddle, you gotta hit the button a couple of times to cancel it. And so I find it's a constant battle of playing like whack-a-mole with hitting the turn signal buttons in time before it takes you out of the lane that you want to stay in. And then when you glance over here to tell it, after a couple, 2 or 3 times of canceling the lane change, it will pop up a little window saying, do you want to minimize the lane changes or change the lane change setting to like minimum or assertive, or like the assertiveness level of your lane changes, whatever this autopilot setting is. And then it'll yell at you for not paying attention to the road when you're trying to read what it's warning you about on the screen. It's like, make up your mind, when all I want to do is stay in the lane that I'm currently in and focus on the road like I should be. But you've got the car making dumbass decisions for you, which forces you to get distracted and look in other directions. I don't know, it's an annoyance. I wish there was some way that you could quickly and permanently disable that for a drive. Like, don't change lanes unless the navigation absolutely requires it. Some type of setting like that.
Make the switch today.
To get your free quote, call or click today. The Buck's got your back.
Sometimes Jonah wrestles with falling asleep, so he takes ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, and wakes up.
Clearly a male. There is no question in this case. And in this case, the victim was a 15-year-old 5th grader. I carry a tape. Now, my problem with this is the people who will say, well, this was a black officer, as if that excuses a form of racism. It does not. We have seen it time and time again where it becomes so systematic that we see that thinking that doing this to a black student means that it won't be punished. because I guarantee you, if Ikeria Tate was Veronica Tate or Kelly Tate or Angela Tate or whoever Tate other than Ikeria, that body slam would not have happened, and no one would be pulling her hair. We see this time and time again, especially with violence towards black students or people thinking that they're older than they are, somehow, as if that's an excuse. Secondly, the pulling of the hair. We've seen that time and time again. It's inexcusable behavior, no matter what the circumstances.
That's right. Well said, and we will definitely follow up on this story. Okay, J.D. Vance, vice presidential running mate of Trump, said that Kamala Harris is trying to take us all back to slavery. Here it is.
Kamala Harris wants to ship everybody's job off to China and then turn them into welfare dependents. That is not a path to prosperity. That is a path to slavery, and it's what Kamala Harris has been doing for 3.5 years.
You know, at this rate, I'm just waiting for Trump and J.D. Vance to tell their constituents a story about how their ancestors were brought home ships. Put up the picture for man. It's getting out of hand, obviously. J.D. Vance believes Democratic rhetoric is to blame for the assassination attempts on Donald Trump. He said all this at a rally in Michigan, and that describing Wall's opponent as a fascist, however accurate it might be, is beyond the pale. But apparently, it's perfectly fine to claim that the competition is enslaving people, which is exactly what the VP hopeful said on Tuesday. Yes, the day after declaring, quote, "We cannot tell the American people that one candidate is a fascist." That's what he said. That was a quote from him. Vance said Kamala Harris has put America on the pathway to slavery, telling supporters in Michigan, quote, "Harris wants to ship everybody's job off to China and then turn them into welfare dependents. That is not the path to prosperity. That is the path to slavery." And it's what Kamala Harris has been doing for 3.5 years. She hasn't been doing a whole lot under the Biden administration because the Biden administration didn't let her. But the only person that shipped a job to China serves your boss, Donald Trump. Ties, clothing line, made in China, as he would say, China. Trump, of course, regularly claims that Harris is a communist, having dubbed her Comrade Kamala in his social media post. And because he is both the king of inflammatory rhetoric and doesn't know that communism, fascism, and socialism are different things, Trump said at a rally last Thursday, "She's a Marxist, communist, fascist, socialist."
Police reported
a day later, he declared, "This is a radical left, Marxist, communist, fascist." Technically not possible. You can't be all of them at the same time. You can be them in stages, but not at the same time. Okay, Trump doesn't know SAT words, so we understand he's not really up to what any of these things mean. If he's asked in a particular interview what this means, he would not be able to tell you, but he knows the crowd loves it. Dear brother, this is the rhetoric we face. What's that?
I'm so sorry, Dr. Ritchie. I think my Haitian neighbors are eating our pet. I'll say everyone. I'm so sorry. I thought that was happening outside. This is along the lines of the new form of McCarthyism, which is coming out of the Trump and Vance camp. Everybody understands that President Trump, especially with his strong stance on business, has been the purveyor of shipping our factories overseas. His company does it during his term. That's been the main point. The problem is projecting and misinformation. That's the problem. Once again, this isn't about the politics. There are a lot of things that Kamala Harris does that's not great that you can point at. This can't be one of them, especially from a camp that has been saying that Kamala Harris has been incognito and absent for the last 4 years, and now everything is also her fault. You can have it one way or the other. That's the thing. And with the path to slavery, that's the terminology that they love to use to just vibrant up that that crowd that they have, their big crowd, their huge crowd, the hugest crowds you've ever seen, they love using those. They cannot help themselves. They have to use those things. I'm waiting for the N-word to slip out of their mouths in direct correlation to their crowd. They're going to be like, you're the N-words now. Look at what Kamala's doing. I'm waiting for that to happen.
Yeah, it won't be a slip, dear brother.
It won't be a slip.
Right, not at all. And the irony of what you just said is so right. If they would just pause a moment and look at a few policy dynamics that really you could use as a wedge inside of the left-leaning political movement, that would be fair. It would be fair game. But you know why they can't do it, dear brother? Because their crowd would not cheer for that. They are here for the racism, not the policy. All right. Yep. We got more on the other side. It's indisputable. Stick and stay.
The plane circled over the Great Salt Lake before making that emergency landing, with medical teams treating 10 passengers on the ground. At least one says she's still recovering from a ruptured eardrum.
It sounds like I'm underwater when I talk.
In a statement to NBC News, Delta says it sincerely apologizes to its customers for the experience, adding the flight crew followed procedures and supported passengers with their immediate needs. Veteran pilot John Cox says events like this are uncommon, but he believes the pilots handled the situation properly.
When you prioritize an event like this, it is not normal. And so we want to deal with it, but it's also not a full-blown emergency. Up to the point that you realize you have passenger injuries, and at that point, now I want priority handling back to the airport.
Tom Costello, NBC News.
And that does it for us this hour. Our coverage continues with Katie Tur reports next.
Research Hospital. For just $19 a month, you'll help us continue the life-saving research and treatment these kids need now and in the future.
Cancer makes me feel angry.
With certain chronic conditions, you're at higher risk of being hospitalized from RSV. And there are no...
You will continue to give. They have done so.
You'll find them in cities.
We'll send you this St. Jude t-shirt.
Million.
There, buddy. We got like 7 minutes. I know that's like an hour in Jethro time. good lane change there. Another seemingly good normal lane change. About half a mile before it needs to get off at the exit ramp, which I'm good with that. Like here, if it was me driving, I would probably zip up there and cut a couple of these cars off, but I'll be patient for the purposes of this video and let Autopilot do its thing. Just wanted to check which software version this was again, so people can see that. So software, full self-driving supervised software version 12.5.1.3. And it yells at you to keep your eyes on the road and the time that it takes you to look at the software version. About 3 seconds there. Pretty good merge and lane change, as it's gonna get on another highway here to go south.
What he said, it was self-defense. They didn't investigate. How well you need to have evidence. Remember what the sheriff said? The sheriff said, when I look at this, I see it. Well, that's what the Oklahoma sheriff said too. Right? He says, what's so horrible is that there was no justice for the father. Yeah. That's right. And possibly, he gets some help spending the point.
Hey Dave, are you guys in one of the conference rooms?
Yes, we are in room 1.
Room 1? Okay. I'm just pulling into the parking lot here in a couple minutes, so I'll come in and meet you guys shortly.
Okay. Dave needs to run to get something. He will be back in a couple minutes as well.
All right. Sounds good. If anybody needs tomatoes, I'm bringing in a bunch of those too, so I've got like 4 containers of tomatoes. right, buddy. We are here, which means you got to stay here in the car for like 30 minutes or an hour. I'll put dog mode on and give you some music to listen to, and you can take a nap on your bed back there and put some more of your decorations on the windows, some more of your Jethro's artwork, No's artwork.
Yes, I really need that 4701 number. I'll be right back.
I'll be back, and we'll go home right after that, okay, buddy?
4701. And,
Ooh, we'll get to try out a self-park, too. See how that works today.
Is Camilla house? He's what? Oh, gotcha. Hello, everyone.
I'm just making my way into the conference room here. Dave, you can go ahead and get started. I'll be there in like a minute.
All right. Well, I feel like we really do need Camilla in this meeting to make it worthwhile. I guess from Ibrahim, I guess he's the only other program manager on. Like you did? Is this all accurate, Ibrahim? Are you still on? Hello. You joining us? But Ibrahim's not answering me. He doesn't care to talk. He's on, but he's not talking. Or he's muted and he doesn't realize he's muted.
I'll be right back.
All right. New cards.
I'll be right back. You stay here.